Welcome to Solo Travel Adventures, my sisters. Don't let fear hold you back from traveling alone. I want you to gather your courage, listen to inspiring stories, and learn how to travel solo while safely navigating new places from this show. I'm Cheryl Esch, solo travel advocate and travel coach, and I want you to have a transformative experience when you travel solo. So pack your bags, book your flight, and check one more time for that passport. It's time to explore the world. Hello, sister travelers. Well, how many out there have ever been to an airport lounge? Well, I'm going to share today how you can get airport lounge access without the hefty fee. Now, what do I mean by that hefty fee? I actually am referring to, as you know, there are many credit cards out there that give you that access, but they have huge annual fees like, Chase Sapphire, American Express, any of those that have these large annual fees. I'm not a fan of that. I try to keep those fees down. I have 2 credit cards and only one carries an annual fee of, I think it's about $119 a year or so. But what I'm talking about is those ones that are, $4.99 a year with those hefty fees. They do have a lot of perks. So if you feel like you can use those perks and you come out, on top, meaning you actually come out making, benefiting from those and not spending more money than you necessarily need to, then that's fine. But I'm going to share 3 ways you can get airport lounge access without having those, top rated credit cards that might give you that access and have those hefty fees attached to them. So I don't know about you, but I have to admit my first time getting into a airport lounge was just this past April. I was traveling from Paris to Amsterdam and I flew Air France. And when I booked my flight, and I think it actually was even, a couple days after, they kind of want you to upgrade, right? And they give you some bonuses. And one of the bonuses they offered was access to the airport lounge. And I jumped on that. Now it was, I think, around $60 is what I paid, but it was so worth it. And I am so hooked on airport lounges now. So I was curious to how I could get more access, despite the fact, not having those very hefty, top rated credit cards that might give you access. So I looked up some ways, other ways that you can get access to these airport lounges and enjoy this. Now, let me tell you, if you've never been to an airport lounge, it is, let me just draw a picture here. So in Air France in Paris, I walked in. Now, this particular lounge was 2 stories and, had beautiful big glass windows looking out to the tarmac. But on that first level, there were 2 different buffets, food, any kind of drinks that you wanted, espresso machine that you can help yourself to, TVs throughout, places to sit and lounge, do work. Lots of people, of course, were on their laptops. But then there's another section where you can go and take a little nap, which is what I did because I was at that airport several hours before my flight was to leave. And there's places you can take showers. There's even, if you want to pay a little extra, you can go and have like a facial or even maybe a massage, depending on that location. It was fabulous. I'm talking, you could have alcoholic drinks, you could drink water, juice, coffee. The food, of course, depending on the time of day you're there, whether it's like a breakfast buffet or it might be lunchtime or even some dinner kind of food, it was phenomenal. And it was definitely worth the money. It was quiet. I didn't feel, just that whole airport feeling, right? Of just having to sit by the gate and waiting. So this was a great way to pass time while I waited for my flight. Now, I just mentioned one way that you could get in, and that was to pay for a day pass, which is what I did. And there's lots of airlines that do offer that. Air France, of course, United, American, Alaska Airlines. There are probably others that might do the same thing when you purchase your ticket. They may offer an upgrade to that. Now, you could also pay for a third-party lounge. There are different third-party lounges. There's called the Escape Lounge, and that can give you access as low as $25. Now, it is pretty limited right now as far as where those are offered. The Escape Lounges are mainly in the U.S., and they're in cities, airports such as Columbus, Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, Fort Lauderdale, Phoenix, Syracuse, Sacramento, Reno, just to name a few. You can hop on their website and look at the other locations. That could be an alternative for you to also get into a lounge. There's also called Dragon Pass, which is mostly in Asia. Kind of the same concept. You pay, it's a third party, you pay to get into certain lounges depending on the airport. You can look them up too. There is Lounge Buddy as well. And then club lounges, those all range, like I said, $25 to $75 US to get in for a one-time visit. Now, the one way that most people get in, this is usually through your airline status, okay? And that's, if you're flying first class or business class. Then if you're flying internationally, that's typically you get that access, all right? Domestically, you need to check with your airline, but that sometimes comes with that perk of first class status, right? There's also airline status where maybe you have one of their branded airline credit cards, and you've earned enough of points, maybe you've flown enough that you are considered elite status. When you're elite status, then you could have access to that specific airline's airport lounge, okay? And the third way, which is actually rather ingenious, is called the Priority Pass membership. Now, this is international, meaning they have over 1,400 lounges all over the country, all over the world, I should say. So they have 370 plus in Europe, 70 plus in Middle East, 440 plus in Asia, 90 or so in Africa, 150 plus in Latin America, 150 plus in America, Canada. So there is lots of options there. Now, this Priority Pass membership, and you can even look them up, they have 3 levels. Now, the standard level is $99. And right now, I just saw an offer. I was looking them up. They're offering $69 right now for that. So that's per year membership. But the standard, even though you pay that membership, then it's $35 a visit. Now, if you fly only 1 to 2 times a year, then a day pass might be more economical versus buying this Priority Pass membership. Then they bump up. Level 2 is what they call Standard Plus. It is $299 a year, and you get 10 free visits. You probably want to check to see if these lounges through Priority Pass membership are in places that you're going to be traveling probably before you buy that membership. And then, of course, Prestige Level 3, that gets up close to what you might be paying for one of like that Amex or Chase Sapphire credit card access. That is $429, and that's unlimited though. So depending on how much you fly, how much you enjoy getting into those airport lounges versus sitting at the gate, right, which we know can get very crowded, very noisy, not exactly the best place to be prior to maybe flying, So you have 3 ways that you can get access to airport lounges without paying those fees. Number 1 is your airline status. Number 2, you pay for a day pass, whether that's through the airlines or a third party. And number 3, you have priority pass membership, which can get you access to internationally over 1,400 lounges. So if you have never, ever been to an airport lounge, I'm going to recommend that on your next international flight, particularly, because you have to be there so early, right? International flights, you have to be there several hours beforehand. And especially if you're maybe having to check a bag and all that stuff, or go through on the way out. Of course, you do customs on the way back, but either way, you're having to be there extra early. Why not spend it somewhere where it's enjoyable, somewhere relaxing, somewhere where you get fed food, you get to use the facilities, nice clean facilities, I'll say, or if you want to take a nap. It's a wonderful way to pass your time before you get onto your flight. So consider those ways, and if you've never done it, I encourage you to at least try it out. All right, let's go out and have those adventures. Hey, sister travelers, did this podcast inspire and encourage you, or move you to get out there and travel? Wonderful. There are 3 ways you can thank me. First one is leave a written review for the show on Apple Podcast. 2, share the show with your sister travelers, your friends, your family. And 3, subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. And thank you again for listening to the show. Sisters, be fearless, take the leap, and get out there and have an adventure.